Let's have a conversation about women who turn on you when you try to warn them about having their children around specific men. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as perpetrators of abuse and violent crimes. This commenter says here, I tried to warn my half brother's girlfriend because I was noticing my brother being a little too aggressive with her son. He was like 6 to 8 years old, who they don't share together. She got so angry with me and started saying stuff like she wasn't used to people like me and I hurt her feelings. Like, okay, girl, watch your kids and don't have them around random men. Hello. Um, I wanted to do a separate video on this because I feel like this has come up a lot. Just in the, I've shared with you guys, I've worked with predators for a while. And so I see things, and I notice behaviors based on the population of people that I worked with for a long time. And, and I've had conversations with women in my family and friends and things like this. And I'm gonna say something, and I don't want it to come across as disrespectful to anybody, because it's not meant to be disrespectful. But I had to take a step back and I had to stop being close with single mothers who were dating. Single mothers who are dating, a lot of the women that I knew really started to scare me, with how fast they would move with men, how fast they would move men in, and how fast they would allow men to have access to children, to their children. I've also been connected with single fathers, and I don't notice this habit as much with single fathers as I do with single mothers who are dating, specifically those who have young children. I'm not talking about those who have older children that are grown, albeit, I think the same can also be said for that. But I'm talking about young children, disabled children, things of that nature. Whenever I've had to, I've I've had to fall out with women over this. Like, hey, that's not okay. This man is touching your child in this way. And trigger warning, by the way, trigger warning. This man is touching your child in this way. This man is trying to get your child alone. You don't know this man. Did you run a criminal background check, or how do you know him? How did you vet him? And you guys have only been dating for how long, and he's moved in, or he's you got him picking your kids up from school? Like, what's going on? And with little kids especially. And not only if I've worked with sex offenders, but I've worked with a lot of, again, trigger warning, people who have killed children, their children or their significant others' children. And so again, I'm coming from the experience that I have, and even prior to that, it was just very alarming to me, that they would just throw caution out the window and fast track and have somebody over there spending the night and having around their kids, without vetting them, without I think without vetting them. And I think also too, the other big red flag for me is without talking to your children too. So there's this thing where people just sort of do things without treating their children like they're people too. Like, are you okay with so and so? And how would you feel if so and so were to stay with us? Or how do you feel about so and so? So without having those conversations with their children in general, to see how their children feel about this person that they're trying to integrate. And sometimes I feel like there's in the past, when I've been close to women like that, I do believe that there can be like a fast track to try to make it a new daddy for their kids. And guess what? Predators know this. Any predator that I've talked to that wants a low hanging fruit, guess what they're going to tell you? They're going to go straight for single mothers. straight out the gate, they're going to tell you that. They're going to, if they want low hanging fruit and they want access to anything, and I'm not trying to be malicious or hurtful or disrespectful towards anybody, but you ask anybody who's honest about predatory ways and they're just an opportunist, they're going to tell you who they're going to try to get access to, especially child predators, but sometimes even predators at any point, if they're desperate enough, they'll go for who's most vulnerable, who's most manipulative, and who has access to, what they're trying to get access to. And so that is, I feel like this post is worthy of its own separate post. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but, just in my lifetime, I've had a lot of people, women that I've warned about the men that they've been with. And guess what? Dr. Jones is right every single time. Every single time. Even when I get on this app, and I warn people every day. I can't tell you how many comments I get. Oh, you're this, you're that. I've been called a Nazi. I've been called everything and this. I'm telling you about what I know. I'm not going to just get up here and just spew stuff, recklessly just to kind of just be talking. I don't get any, I'm not, but I do it all the time. And even here, people don't want to hear it, and unfortunately, people have to find out the hard way, and they say I'm this and I'm that. And I'm just telling you about things that I know to be true. And just, there's a reason why I worked many years in my career field without ever getting hurt. There's a reason why I always was handed the worst cases, in a lot of cases in my prison, because my manager knew that Dr. Jones would get people straight and didn't, would get, would be able to handle it without getting hurt. And so there's a reason why for those things. And I come on here and I tell you guys every day, check any one of my comments on any given day. I'm quite sure you're going to be seeing a lot of, because I let a lot of the negative ones be shown too. You're this, you're that, you're all this. But, I've kind of stopped doing that. And so now I give general tips and people can take it or leave it. But yeah, people can be angry. They do get angry. Mothers, sisters, all of them have gotten angry with me over what I've tried to warn them over men. And true story, I've every single time I've hit it on the head. I've told I've told people about, hey, your man's a little bit crazy, girl. He's gonna go off, or there's an anger there and I don't like what I'm seeing, or he's inserting himself in things that he shouldn't be involved with. So men that maybe would speak on family matters or things like, how does he know that? You've only known him a week. Why is he talking right now? That kind of stuff. Like, or why does he feel so comfortable to do that already? But the sitting on the laps, the touching, biting on the neck, and squeezing and tickling, even when the child has said, I don't like that, all this other kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up.